Mm, 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 mm. Tuk, 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 tuk. Mm. Hmm. Okay, so what could possibly be causing the resistances to not pull through even though the HP is pulling through just fine? I mean, I can just change the Stalnox HP to 500 and call it a day right there. Floating point values. Alright, let's just... Uh, a force of 1500 is...
Back to destroying everything. That's nice. Again, though, that's by battle or card effect. So you reload. Some things are not normal. By that, I mean if you go out in the world and start measuring things like human height, IQ, or the size of apples on a tree, you will find that for each of these things, most of the data clusters around some average value. This is so common that we call it the normal distribution. But some things in life are not like this.
Nature shows power laws all over the place. That seems weird. Like, is nature tuning itself to criticality?
Make a crude measure of how big is a world war by how many people it kills. You find that it follows a power law. Outcome will vary in size over 10 million, 100 million.
It's much more likelihood of really big events than you would expect from a normal. They will totally skew the average.
The system you're looking at doesn't have any inherent physical scale. Really hard to know what's going to happen next.
The more you measure, the bigger the average is, which is really weird. It sounds impossible.
It's very important to try to understand, which game you're playing and what are the payoffs going to be in the long run.
The late
Okay,
1800s,
so
Italian engineer Vilfredo Pareto stumbled upon something no one had seen before. See, he suspected there might be a hidden pattern in how much money people make. So he gathered income tax records from Italy, England, France, and other European countries. For each country, he plotted the distribution of income.
I have a very
Each
smart
country he
idea.
looked at, he saw the same pattern, a pattern which still holds in most countries to this day. And it's not a normal distribution.
Right, so they aren't shorts,
If
they're
you
floats.
think about a normal distribution, like height, there's a clearly defined average, and extreme outliers basically never happen. I mean, you're never going to find someone who is, say, 5 times the average height. That would be physically impossible. But Pareto's income distributions were different. Take this curve for England. It shows the number of people who earn more than a certain income. Curve starts off declining steeply, most people earn relatively little, but then it falls away gradually, much more slowly than a normal distribution would, and it spans several orders of magnitude. There were people who earned 5 times, 10 times, even 100 times more than others. That kind of spread just wouldn't happen if income were normally distributed. Now, to shrink this huge spread of data, Pareto calculated the logarithms of all the values and plotted those instead. In other words, he used a log-log plot, and when he did that, the broad curve transformed into a straight line. The gradient was around negative 1.5. That means each time you double the income, say from 200 pounds to 400 pounds, the number of people earning at least that amount drops off by a factor of 2 to the power of 1.5, which is around 2.8. And this pattern holds for every doubling of income. So Pareto could describe the distribution of incomes with one simple equation. The number of people who earn an income greater than or equal to X is proportional to 1 over X to the power of 1.5. Now, that's what Pareto saw for England, but he performed the same analysis on data from Italy, France, Russia, and a bunch of other countries. And he saw the same thing again and again. Each time, the data transformed into a straight line, and the gradients were remarkably similar. That meant Pareto could describe the income distribution in each country with the same equation, 1 over the income to some power, where that power is just the absolute gradient of the logarithmic graph. This type of relationship is called a power law. When you move from the world of normal distributions to the world of power laws, things change dramatically. So to illustrate this, let's take a trip to the casino to play 3 different games. At table number 1, you get 100 tosses of a coin. Each time you flip and it lands on heads, you win $1. So the question is, how much would you be prepared to pay to play this game? Well, we need to work out how much you'd expect to win in this game and then pay less than that expected value. So the probability of throwing a head is 1/2. Multiply that by $1 and multiply that by 100 tosses.
Before I
That
publish
gives you
this
an expected
again
payout
and be
of
an
$50.
idiot.
So you should be willing to pay anything less than $50 to play this game. Sure, you might not win every time, but if you play the game hundreds of times, the small variations either side of the average will cancel out, and you can expect to turn a profit. One of the first people to study this kind of problem was Abraham de Moivre in the early 1700s. He showed that if you plot the probability of each outcome, you get a bell-shaped curve, which was later coined the normal distribution.
Normal distributions, the traditional explanation is that when there are a lot of effects that are random, that are adding up, that's when you expect
Okay.
normals. Like how tall I am depends on a lot of random things about my nutrition, about my parents' genetics, all kinds of things. But if these random effects are additive, that is what tends to lead to normals.
At table number 2, there's a slightly different game. You still get 100 tosses of the coin, but this time, instead of potentially winning $1 on each flip, your winnings are multiplied by some factor. So you start out with $1, and then every time you toss a head, multiply your winnings by 1.1. If instead the coin lands